Hello, my friends. It's Deb Colitas, and welcome back to the Just Get to Work podcast, where we talk about everything fun having to do AI search and all that comes with it. It's a brave new world out there, and it's not just Google business or how am I ranking or am I paying for AdWords anymore. It's about paying attention. So here at Just Get to Work, we get rid of the distractions. We don't waste too much time, and let's iterate our ideas, and let's just get to work. So the first thing today, you're going to hit that smash that subscribe button, like button, share it, something along the way, as I'm excited you're here, as today's topic is the new trust signals. It's a weird thing to think of that, we're going to trust an AI search, a ChatGPT, a Claude, a Google Gemini. We are not comfortable with that as humans, nor should we be. However, the word trust, unfortunately, is sticking and is here to stay in how these AI search go after information that then they regurgitate as someone asks a question. So a few weeks back, I actually asked ChatGPT a question that I already knew the answer to on purpose. I asked who the best plumber was in our area. And, while I am aware of this firm, they do a great job, wonderful people. But you know what? AI told me it didn't tell me who ranks number one on Google. It didn't tell me who's got the flashiest ads all over Facebook. It gave me two names, and both of them had one thing in common after I dug in. And this is what I expected. They showed up over and over in other people's words, reviews, Reddit threads, a local Facebook group post from some guy complaining about his water heater. It is how all of this ecosystem of content comes together for where your business and service and products begin to appear. It's not just what you said and you put out there anymore. It's how are people talking about you. Neither of these plumbing businesses had paid a dime for their placement. And I bet you they didn't even know that this was happening. And here's the part that really got me. I called the guy up, told him what I found. He had no idea of any of the conversations about him even existed online. He never once even thought to look at it. He thought his reputation was whatever his Google star rating said it was, or just the compliment that he got at the front desk. But meanwhile, the actual decision-making conversation was happening on a forum he had never heard of, nor he has control of. So that's the episode today as we're digging into the new trust signals. If you've been listening since earlier episodes when we demystified LLMs or when we had talked about the rise of the answer engine, you already know that the game has changed. But today I want to get really specific about why AI trusts who it trusts and what it trusts, why that mechanism actually matters for your business and what you need to do about it starting this week. And because I know you're going to ask how long it actually takes before you see any of that work pay off. So this is a longer one. Grab your coffee or maybe something stronger and let's just get to work. If you think about old versus new, the old trust was that you were visible, right? That it was a popularity contest. For 20 plus years, ranking well on Google was mostly a numbers game, right? Backlinks, keywords, ads, how long you've been around. You could kind of game it if you knew what you were doing. And well, we all did it in different ways. And a lot of us built entire businesses on knowing how to work that system. But AI does not rank pages. So again, there's my tangent. If someone's trying to tell you to rank on AI, please run away. It builds answers over time. And when it builds that answer, it's not asking who paid the most attention to SEO. It's asking a completely different question. Why do other sources agree is trustworthy? It's an agreement that has to come together to showcase and highlight what you're doing, what you're selling, who you are. And this is a huge shift. It's not about just one system anymore. It's about being verified again and again and again by people and sources that you do not control. I think about my own farm business. Woohoo! We've talked about this before. We're getting ready for fall season here. Nobody out the farm is out there link building, but when people post about buying from us, when a local group vouches for us, when a review shows up on 3 different platforms saying the same good thing, that's not marketing. That's proof. And AI is built to look for proof. So take a moment and sit back here. If you are a business that's doing great things and going after wonderful people and products and building those relationships, you now have an advantage that you're not having to try to, influence people to say good things about you. They already are, and that's out there. Here's the mindset shift I need you to make before we go any further. For 2 decades, again, that's 20 plus years, my friends, you were taught to think of your website as a storefront. For many years, we were building brochure websites, something that if you wanted to print out, you actually could. Somebody could flip through it and then they understand your products and services. It was something you controlled, things that you polished, the thing that represented you. You'd update pictures, you'd update services, update pricing maybe. That's not where the trust decisions get made anymore. Don't read me wrong, your website's important because that is an anchor point of who you are and what you do. But the trust decisions that are going to get made out in the world in places you don't own, the website is just now one voice in a much bigger conversation happening. What is AI actually weighing in the search? Let's break this down, what these tools are actually looking at when they decide who to trust. I've dug into this. I've talked to people way smarter than me about the technical side, and it really comes down to a handful of things. Number one, consistency. The moment I started cleaning up 2 years ago, our businesses, farm, our restaurant, our snow removal business, Focus Point Communications. Does your business name, your story, your details show up the same way across the web? I spent 45 minutes of my life on the phone with Apple support yesterday back because my Apple business listing is not matching my Google business listing. 2 different products, 2 different ways of doing it, 2 different arguments to be had. But it was hurting my business. And so hopefully that is being rectified. If your hours are wrong on one site and right on another, if your name is spelled 2 different ways, that then is noise to the AI search. And AI doesn't like noise. It likes agreement. And you have to work very, very hard to get this agreement out there. Next up, we have independent mentions. This is huge. It's not enough for your website to say you're great. AI is looking for other people saying it. Reviews, forums, news mentions, podcasts. Hey, even this counts. The stuff you don't control is often weighted more than the stuff you do. I'm currently in the midst of an AI search upgrade with one of my clients right now, and deep into our search to figure out what the heck was being cited is a random article that a so-called competitor put out there that lists the pros and cons of what my client is, and that is now being cited. That is absolutely crazy because you and I know, it's kind of like McDonald's, saying that Burger King is the best and Burger King is saying McDonald's the best. What? It doesn't make sense. But unfortunately, AI in all of its glory is still not smart enough in what is being taken as expert sources and trusted sources. So you have to go out there and see where it's at and go, where do we need to start encouraging conversation? And that leads us to freshness. When's the last time anybody said something about you in the digital realm? A business with reviews from 2019 and silent since looks a lot different to an AI system than a business getting mentioned last week. Google, I know, is very strict about following up with, are you, saying, hey, get a free this if you leave a review or this, that, and the other. You have to build this into your daily system of what you do and what you're encouraging your customers to be putting online in different ways. Depth over polish. What does that mean? Depth means, is the information being given quality? Can people relate to it? And are people talking about it? Polish is, when you spend so many hours trying to get the exact, image, the exact words, putting it together. And this is something that is constantly surprising. A messy, honest Reddit thread with real detail can outweigh a beautifully written page on your own website. Because AI is trying to figure out what's true, not what's persuasive. Listen to that. AI is trying to figure out what's true, not what's persuasive. Polish used wins. A polish used to win. Now honesty and detail win. Here's the key moment. If you take one thing from this whole episode, take this. You are not the most trusted source about your own business anymore. Everyone else is. So why the heck does this actually work this way in the crazy world of AI search? Let me slow down because I don't want you just nodding along without understanding why this is happening. When you understand the why, it's going to make you actually do the work instead of shrugging it off because it's going to make a big difference to your bottom line. Plain English. These AI tools don't know your business the way a human who's worked with you knows your business. They're pulling from a giant pile of text scattered across the internet. And that's global, especially if you're a global business. And then trying to figure out in real time which pieces of that pile are reliable enough to hand somebody as an answer. Think about it this way. If I ask 10 different strangers about a restaurant and 8 of them say it's great, I trust that. If I ask 10 strangers and only the restaurant owner says it's great, I'm not going to trust that at all. Of course he'd say that. I'm not going to go and try it still, but you're going to weigh that opinion differently. AI is doing a version of that same math, except it's doing it across millions of pages instead of 10 strangers. And it's doing it in about half a second, which is just nuts. That's why independent mentions matter so much more than what you say about yourself. Your own website is the restaurant owner talking, a review, a forum thread, a news mention. That's the other diners talking. AI weighs the diners heavier every time because the diners have nothing to gain by lying. This also explains why consistency matters so much. If your business shows up one way on your website, a different way on Yelp, and a third way on a directory site somewhere, AI can't tell which version is real. It's not going to bet on you. It's going to bet on the competitor whose story lines up everywhere, because that competitor is easier to verify and safer to recommend. And this explains freshness too. Did you ever say to your kids, don't get fresh with me? Well, AI is getting fresh. And it's not just asking, is this business good? It's asking, is this business good right now? A pile of 5-star reviews from 6 years ago tells the model almost nothing about whether you're still operating, still good, still around. Recent activity is proof of life. No recent activity reads as risk, even if nothing's actually wrong. So when we get into the action step in a minute, I need you to hold on to this. None of this is a checklist to complete once. This is your continuously feeding the AI models fresh, independent, consistent proof that you're real, you're good, and you're still here. That's the whole game now. Here is the scary moment that maybe your business is or is not in, no matter how small or big you actually are. I'm auditing some of the biggest corporations in the United States right now on the New York Stock Exchange. And there's a reputation blind spot, because this is the part that just keeps me up sometimes for the success of American businesses. Most business owners and decision makers I talk to, and I mean this with love because I've been there, have no idea what's actually being said about them out in the world. They know their Google ranking, they're very proud of analytics, maybe they check Yelp once in a blue moon, but they've never gone looking on Reddit. They've never searched their own name plus reviews or scam or worth it just to see what conversation is already happening without them in the room. And that conversation, whether you're part of it or not, is exactly what AI is pulling from to decide whether to recommend you. I had a client last year, small home service business, phenomenal at the actual work. You would want to invite them over for dinner after they've performed. 5 stars everywhere, they controlled the message, but there was an old, ugly thread from a disgruntled former employee sitting on a forum with way more details and way more engagement than any of the 5-star reviews. Guess what showed up when people asked about them in AI? Not the 5 stars, that thread. They didn't even know it existed. That's the blind spot, and it's not going away. It's getting bigger because more and more people are asking AI these questions instead of typing them into Google and scrolling through the 10 blue links themselves. I've since seen this exact pattern play out 3 more times with different clients. A negative mention with a real detail almost always beats a positive mention with no detail. That should scare you a little, and it should also motivate you because it means the fix isn't complicated. It's just about getting more detailed, honest, positive material out there faster than the negative stuff accumulates. And that's what focus point communication helps our clients be able to do and set up a strategy that matches their business model. So that's what's next. What is the practical application? What businesses actually need to be doing? We're going to stop talking about the problem and build out exactly what this looks like in your business week by week. I'm going to talk you through this by category. And for each one, I want you to understand not just what to do, but why it moves the needle. Because if you understand the why, you'll actually keep doing it after this podcast episode is over. Number 1, run a trust audit. Do this first before anything else. You need to be searching your business by name on ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google AI Overview. Ask, what do you know about XYZ business? And ask it a buying question like, who's the best plumber in the Lehigh Valley? Write down exactly what it says, word for word. This matters because you cannot fix what you can't see. Most businesses are optimizing completely blind, pouring money into ads or SEO, while the actual AI-driven conversation about them is happening somewhere they've never looked. This audit takes 15 minutes, and it will tell you more about real reputation than any marketing report you've ever paid for. So number 2, With what you have found, you're going to fix consistency across every platform you've touched. Pull up every place your business is listed, your website, Google Business Profile, Yelp, industry directories, Facebook, LinkedIn, anything you've joined along the way, your church directory, anywhere. Same business name, same address format, same phone number, same core description of what you do. Here at Focus Point, we call that your hero statement. Fix every mismatch. Why this matters? Well, remember the math, AI can't verify a story that contradicts itself. Every inconsistency is a small reason for the model to trust you a little less and trust a cleaner competitor a little more. This is unglamorous work, but it's foundational. As I say, put on the Netflix or Hulu, be streaming something while you're in there, because nothing else you do matters much if this layer is messy. So get it straightened out. Now you're going to be building a deliberate review generation system. So you're going to stop hoping happy customers leave reviews. You want an actual system, a text sent right after a good job, a QR code at the counter, a follow-up email that makes it stupid easy. With our teenage and college age team members at the farm, they know it's part of their script. When they get to someone that's really excited about their experience, they say, "Oh, would you go online and leave a review?" It's part of the culture that you're asking. And then ask for the details, not just the stars. Tell us what specifically we did well. It gets you the depth AI is actually looking for. We recently had a shed delivered. I was blown away by their review system. I was so impressed. Not only was the service in the shed fantastic, but the driver handed me a card with a QR code of where to leave the review. I then got a text thanking me for their business first and then said, if you had a positive experience, please leave a review. And then there was the follow-up again, thanking me for the business and then saying, hey, we would love to, see a review online. That is pretty cool. Now, here is everyone's goal, that we want to be consistently recommended by AI as a top choice. This is 6 to 12 months of steady work. Honestly, this was my goal in starting the Just Get to Work podcast in January. I have not produced as many podcasts as I've wanted to, but I've remained consistent in what I'm putting out there. My hope and my goal is that more of you are watching, more of you find this valuable. Maybe I'm popping up and mentioned in a Reddit thread. I get a review, I get a response, and that's the real prize. It comes from doing everything in what we have as an ongoing habit, not a one-time sprint. And the businesses that I've actually helped get there are the ones who treated month 4 as the same as month 1. Same consistency, same habits, no coasting. There's no easy way to get out of this homework assignment. But here's the encouraging part. You don't need to wait a year to see any movement. Most of my clients and myself with my businesses have seen a visible shift, a mention showing up, a more accurate AI answer, a review starting to surface inside the first 60 days. That's enough proof of momentum to know you're on the right track, even while the bigger picture is still building underneath. This is a long-term game. As I've said before, what we would all have done if we had gone on YouTube the day it had launched and started our YouTube channel. You'd have a different life now. This is the same with the AI search. You've got to commit and go with it. So here's what I want you to take away. Trust used to be something you built with a website and a logo and a few years in business. Now it's something the whole internet builds for you, whether you're paying attention or not. You can either find out what's being said about you and shape it in your ecosystem, or you can let it happen without you and hope for the best. I know which one I'm picking every day. If this hits home and you're realizing you have no idea what AI is actually saying about your business right now, that's exactly the kind of thing we dig into in a strategy session. Just head to justgettowork.com, book some time with me, and let's find out what's really out there together. Watching is step 1. Implementation is where things shift. If you're stuck, overwhelmed, or spinning, let's get you unstuck. So the hustle is real. Let's just get to work.